Kevin Persad 6055. Current trends in instructional technology, emerging technologies and learning, virtual and augmented reality education. The future of emerging technologies in the education system will be split into two categories. Emerging technologies in the developing years will deviate into categories of realistic implementation and capitalistic implementation. These two different variations are different from the ideal vision for emerging technologies. The most likely implementation of emerging technologies, namely augmented and virtual reality, would be scenarios in which public K-12 students would be introduced to the technology in limited capacity as opposed to being able to fully take advantage of the technology. In this version of implementation, the lessons and technologies would suffer from budgetary constraints and technical support in the public education system. In the capitalistic implementation of the technologies, the AR/VR educational lessons would be funded by the private sector, where learning is streamlined for specific career and learning paths. This will most likely be seen in higher education private universities that specialize in a professional career field like medical or aviation. The ideal implementation would be a classroom in which K-12 students get to take full advantage of virtual and augmented reality. In an idealistic setting, classrooms would be turned into a fully immersed virtual classroom where students can explore exotic parts of the world, or periods in history, where they get to explore virtual remote environments and learn about social studies, geography and languages of different societies. Using virtual reality headsets, students will be able to look around and interact with places in the world that they would not be able to access otherwise. Students would also be able to visit virtually rendered environments throughout history and learn about their uses and the historical impact it had on the civilizations at the time. Examples of this would be the ability to navigate through a slave ship and get the full scope of what it meant to experience every part of the ship. Other examples of this type of experiential learning would be the ability to visit and experience battles like the American Civil War or see what the Berlin Wall looked like. The most realistic outcome for emerging technologies will be simple introductory devices for public K-12 students. Students would be introduced to AR/VR technology by the public school. Considering that the public school system is funded by tax dollars, it will have a direct result on the K-12 system to adequately supply and update emerging AR/VR technologies. The technologies would be funded disproportionately among American school districts. We have seen exponential growth in immersive technologies such as AI and AR/VR in the past couple of years. The technology is advancing faster than we keep up with. This would lead to some schools being underfunded compared to others. As with most public schools, teachers and infrastructure, the technologies would suffer from a lack of technical support and public funding. Even if the funds become available and there is no limit to the technology that students have access to, the platform and materials would be subject to educational bureaucracy. Incorporating virtual training removes the central location of students' information and places it in the home where parents have more control over their children's online information. In today's world of ethical learning and information, politics and socio-political issues are now prevalent and under major scrutiny by students, teachers, and parents. People are very concerned about what their students are learning. It's important that education stays ethical, and that means different things to different people. The most important thing to do is factor in everyone when designing online virtual reality courses. This means designing courses so that they are fully accessible to everyone. When designing ethically, it's important to consider people of all backgrounds. By building a training virtual augmented reality training module, developers should consider users' abilities and make sure that the content is as inclusive as possible. Developers should take advantage of AD and SAM to ensure that the product is constantly growing and inclusive. Augmented and virtual reality are exciting new technologies, unlike anything we have seen before. Using the history of how technology has been incorporated in the past, we can realistically assess the future of AR/VR in the future of education. Emerging technologies like these do not have to be limited by trends of the past. With the future of information, technology and education changing exponentially, it's not impossible to make the ideal classroom come to life. With technology becoming more accessible and learning becoming more remote, it's the perfect time for a dynamic shift in education. If developers, companies, and schools stay committed to using effective learning theories, then students will be rewarded with the highest quality of education.